John is bringing this up, that there are problems with the president, and there are. You can't turn around 500 times, go shake hands with people that aren't standing there. You can't multiple times in a week and say, oh, I had a meeting with a guy who's been dead 10 years. You can't do that multiple times a week. What about the other guy? Yeah, I've said this about both. There's a reason why I didn't vote for either one of them last time around. Because this is how I view it. Some of you have heard me say this too many times. My mother is their age. If she flies into town tonight, I'm not letting her borrow my car, let alone run the country. So Jon Stewart went on the air the other night and said this, quote, these two candidates, they are both similarly challenged. And it's not crazy to think that the oldest people in the history of the country to ever run for president might have some of these challenges. Stewart then said of Biden and Trump, both of whom have faced criticism for increased, public instances. And they have. Everybody's been attacking Biden's memory, so people have pointed out a couple of times that Trump has, messed up and, said something. I'm all right. I mean, gaffes are part of life. I do it all the time. As a public speaker, I do it all the time. It's part of life. We need to be honest about the fact that President Biden has a little bit of a situation now. Like, come on. It's becoming a little bit more frequent. Did you see the one the other day? Was it Art? I forget whose president it was, but he's just wandering around behind the guy. He has no idea where to go. Guys, it's looking sad now. And so Jon Stewart brought this up, and people are pissed at him. Rolling Stone jumped down his throat. There was 10 posts the other day. So now they switched it a little bit because all of their replies were don't do this, don't do this, you're looking for tribalism, why are you arguing for tribalism? Because they were making the point of this isn't the right time to be doing this. Because Rolling Stone's point is, this is the most important election in the history of man. Newsflash. Every election is the most important election in the history of man. You know why? Because it's the next one, baby. That's why. That's why. People are all over Jon Stewart talking about how you're raising questions about Biden's electability. You're threatening his chances at electability. To which I'm sure Jon Stewart and myself would both say, no, I'm sorry, that's not what's happening. The president is messing with his ability to be reelected. People can see, they can hear, they can listen. And a lot more people are starting to do that. What you've just done now, Rolling Stone, is admit that what you want is Jon Stewart to go in there and run pass blocking. So you can get the leader you want again. If they need to be protected from criticism, I'm sorry, I'm not sure they're the guy. I want somebody who can admit that their side doesn't always get it right. That's why I said I was walking away from the party. I want to be on their side. I just can't anymore because I no longer believe in them anymore. And I want better. And so, yes, am I stricter for them than I am the other side? Yes, because that's where I would like to vote. I just can't anymore. Because we knew this is what was going to be happening with this president. We knew. Everybody knew. Everybody knew. And instead of finding a really qualified person we could hand the baton off to get us over the finish line when this was going to happen, they decided not to do that. And they went with Kamala Harris instead. Notice absolutely nobody talking about them Chuck Taylors busting through glass ceilings right now. You know why? Because it was always a lie. It was always a lie. And they knew it then. But the hatred for the other man was so strong, man, that we created a phrase. Vote blue no matter who. You understand what that is actually saying? I don't give a damn who you give me. I just hate that guy so much it can't be him. I don't give a damn if the person you give me does what I want. I'm in a cult, so I'm going to say vote blue no matter who. I think both sides are a little cult-like, if I'm honest, but saying I don't give a damn who you give me, I'm voting for it no matter what, and calling somebody else a cult member, I'm sorry, is all-time hilarious. And I want Jon Stewart to be saying things like that because it's true. He is exactly what the doctor ordered right now. One of Rolling Stone's first articles about it was, this isn't the right time to be doing this. This may not play well in 2024. Which is, of course, them being scared as hell. Because I think 3 years ago it wasn't the time for it. But now, like I always say, you give America a few years of anything, they want the other thing. And this is where we are now. We've had a couple of years of the person who told us it was going to be better. And most people will tell you they don't feel as if their situation is better. That's where we are. Is Jon Stewart supposed to deny that? Now, the Rolling Stone thing. Pinko commie rag. That's what everybody said about it always. It was always a left-leaning paper. Always. Go ask Ben Fong Torres. He'll tell you. It was always a left-leaning paper. Based in San Francisco. Like, right? It was always kind of that paper. The difference was, and is that when it was started as a left-leaning paper, that was the counterculture. Now, their side of the political aisle is the culture. And we don't have a counterculture rag. And the attack on Jon Stewart is kind of the reason why.
He was the most hated man in America. And then Kanye came along. Thanks a lot, Kanye. The Stansberry Show on Rock 106.9.
I got Creed tickets all week, so yesterday played you some Creed, today too, little dealer's choice there, took it on my own. I was like, dude, they're coming, I got tickets, they're a huge band, let's get some songs on the goddamn radio, man, it's what we do here, right? Yeah, it's what we do. Little arms wide open, we'll see what I decide on tomorrow. I do have Creed tickets, give me just a couple of minutes, we will get you hooked up. Earlier, we were talking about rideshare drivers. Apparently, there's an organized walkout today on Valentine's Day over lack of payment. And I'm sure those people deserve a little bit more money than what they're getting. As that's how I feel about me, that's how I feel about you, and that's how I feel about most jobs, right? A few people who, more than a few of you, obviously, either do this as your job or supplement your income with it. I did take this from the text line, 330-450-7625 to text. It says, hey, Stansberry, the rideshare strike was orchestrated by an organization named Justice for App Workers Coalition. He claims this person does, or he or she, honestly, they didn't give me their name. I should be careful there. They don't represent 99% of us that do it for a living. Also, I would like to let you know I transport more people to and from work, medical transport, and people going to airports that don't want to pay the parking fees than I do people that are drunk. This is interesting because, again, I've kind of made it about this is what the big use for Uber is. There is a big daytime business in it. I won't deny that, and clearly you know more about this than I do. You drive for Uber or Lyft, and I do not. And I get annoyed when people try to tell me they know more about the radio business than I do. So I'm sure, okay, right? I don't want to be guilty of that, is what I'm saying. Okay, I think that's fair. That's probably fair. You know what? I don't think about our airport all that much being all that heavily trafficked either. Like if I was in Chicago, New York, LA, Vegas, something like that, I may think about that a little bit more. Although our airport's fantastic. I absolutely love it. He says here, or he or she, sorry, I agree that a strike isn't smart today, but if you can't explain common sense to a brick wall. They've tried 4 times in the past year to stage these strikes around the country, and they've all done nothing. Many drivers believe they're going to make $1,000 a week, but when they don't, because of their poor business decisions, they try to blame the companies. Yes, the companies take more than they used to, but there's many of us that are thriving doing this because we know how it's supposed to be done. You don't just get into your car and drive. No, there is going to be a little bit of a system to it. One of the things I think you're going to have to figure out, I'll guess here, and to those of you that drive, you could let me know. The fine line between not speaking at all and speaking a little too much. One of the things that annoys me I like music, right? I'm a big music guy. I don't care what you listen to. If I'm in your car, I don't care. Nothing's going to offend me. I may not like something, but it's not going to be a problem for me. When we won't turn it down or ask me about the volume level, there I think that's a little bit of an issue. And I've had drivers who are like, my car, this is what I'm doing. It's like, well, yeah, man, but I'm in your car because of a service. And I am the consumer there. Now, customer relations has kind of been falling down by the wayside in a lot of different areas. I don't think it's just the Uber. And I really shouldn't make it seem like I've had a problem. I have had mostly great luck here. there's been a couple of times where I had a driver with a BO issue, and I'm like, ugh, like that's bad. But like there was only one time where I felt like, oh, I'm unsafe in this car. Here in Canton. Vegas, that was a little bit of a different time. Like that got kind of wild. As a matter of fact, in Vegas, I kind of like to stick to the cabs if I can. They've just been out there, kind of been doing it there. You know what somebody else said to me? Daniel texted this in 330-450-7625. I was making it about, dude, if you want to do a boycott of this, or if you want to do a protest for this, do it on St. Patrick's Day. That's when all your traffic's going to be. And what Daniel thinks, and he's probably right here, is no, dude, that's why you do it on Valentine's Day, because St. Patrick's Day is only a month away. So you're trying to like bait the hook of like, dude, don't screw around here. You better give us what we want. Otherwise, if we do this on that day, you're really screwed. Now, some people are telling me, man, the drivers aren't going to organize a walkout on one of their busiest days. The whole point is they need to be making more money. Why would they take themselves off the board on St. Patrick's Day? Well, my thing is, you're not wrong in how you came up with that math.
How you doing? Don't forget to visit us on Road Dog Travels channel.
Going to be making the money if the drivers all walk out and don't
like and subscribe.
And I think I'm just going to guess that there would be more riders looking for a ride on St. Patrick's Day than today. If I'm wrong on that, I'm wrong about that. I am speculating. But they care about the consumer, the company, more than they care about the driver. Much like my company cares about you more than they care about me. They'll find another idiot to do this. They tell me every single time I'm upset about something. They care about you more than they care about me. That's what being in business is. That's kind of how it works, right? And so if they're dealing with the customers all day like, God damn it, what the hell? Then you may get movement. If you don't inconvenience me, why would I be on your side? I think is how they're looking at it. But are they setting it up today so they don't have to do it for St. Patrick's Day? That's a pretty good point by Daniel that I kind of overlooked. He may be right about that. I could see that being the thing. I don't know what they take. I don't know what they do. I don't know this or that. I know people are getting a little tired of the adding of the fees for the drivers, for the food. I know people are getting a little tired about their tipping options on that. I view tipping on app delivery food as like, no man, convenience is always going to cost me more money. Is essentially my argument. There's a reason why convenience stores charge more for milk than the grocery store. Right? Convenience is always costly for the consumer. That's why somebody made something convenient, because they understand it's going to be worth money to you. We do have Creed, 3 Doors Down, Wolfgang Van Halen playing November 22nd, Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. Caller 15, I'm going to send you.
So where is everybody checking in from?
Toll free at 800-243-7625. Now the rest of you, you're rocking the bank and grabbing that first $1,000 keyword, presented by Beavers Marine, next on Rock 1069.
Back to the Stansberry Show on Rock 1069.
Welcome back to the program. Sorry about the delay there. Caught me multitasking. We'll thank Larry Offenberger here out of Waynesburg for listening this morning. He also won his way into Creed, 3 Doors Down, Wolfgang Van Halen. Finger 11's on that show too. Now I do have tickets for you tomorrow and then Friday as well on the show. And still to come, have another set of these Lamb of God and Mastodon tickets. We can get you those. This morning. All right, so I've talked about the Super Bowl a couple of times this last week, right? Obviously, big event in the whole thing. And the numbers were through the roof, like over 200 million across all platforms. I'm not surprised. I kind of feel like viewership of things like this kind of grow over years. There's a little bit of like, hey, the box office got broken again. Oh, you mean when we raised the ticket prices of the tickets? Oh, we broke the box office, did we? Right, there's a little bit of that. We're making it more accessible to watch the Super Bowl than ever, right? There's multiple ways to do it in the like. So where does it stack up against like some all-time moments in this country? So I'm going to trust that Darren Rovell is right here, right? But he says, yes, Super Bowl Sunday, big, massive. It had been the most watched American broadcast since the Apollo 11 moon landing. Man, it's pretty significant. At least it feels that way to me. But Darren's pointing this out, and it's interesting. says, but the problem is that the first moon landing was watched by 64% of America. That's what the estimations are. I wonder what the other people were doing. Right? Like, what was on your plate that day? There was no Instagram. There was no OnlyFans. Right? I mean, I guess maybe you had Hustler in your hand, or probably Playboy then. I mean, but like, what were you doing? That it wasn't like, let's watch the moon. Right? Like, I'd be curious to know what was going on. So they say the moon landing was watched by 64% of America. However, the Super Bowl this last week was only watched by 37%. Well, a couple of things here. Our population has exploded. Like, it has exploded, right? Especially this last year, right? So there's some of that's kind of baked into that. But I am surprised it's not more in line, because we carry out athlete and celebrity on our shoulders. Inventor, scientist, reaching for the stars, dude, barely know their names. Like, it's kind of crazy, right? Like, okay, I'll take it into a completely different arena. So William Post died yesterday, I think. Apparently he had invented the Pop-Tart. Don't you think it's a little weird that we pray at the altar of sugar and carbohydrate in this country? Aren't you a little surprised that those people aren't on playing cards? Dude, I got Dr. Doritos right here. Right? Like, I mean, isn't it a little crazy? Like, I would think that because of our infatuation with food and how much we love it, especially these days, one bite, everybody knows the rules. Take 6 bites so you comment, so my engagement goes up, so I make more money. 1 bite, everybody knows the rules. Yeah, everybody knows how you're manipulating the algorithm. Everybody knows that rule. Smart. I told you, very few people understand the algorithm better than Dave Portnoy. He's amazing at it. And that's exactly what he's doing. 1 bite, everybody knows the rules. Everybody comment about how he took more than 1 bite. It's the easiest thing to see ever. But like, the guy who invented the Pop-Tart isn't famous? Like, that's kind of crazy to me. Now, I guess we could use this argument. Did he invent the Pop-Tart, or did some lowly worker at the company invent the Pop-Tart and homie took the credit for it? Is that what happened? You know what I mean? Because, like, let's be honest. Back in the day in American business, my guess is that was way worse then than now. Because there was no, I got fired and let me TikTok on it so we can all drag my company on TikTok. You know, this probably won't negatively affect my ability to get the next job, but I got all the little red hearts on this one, so I'm fine, right? Like, there's a lot of that. Back in the day, they could have just yanked it. I'm surprised, honestly, that it wasn't more people. That only about, they say about 30, which only, I mean, but just under 40% of America watched the Super Bowl. Now, it is becoming more and more global. Not quite the NBA yet, but I do believe the NFL wants it to happen. So much so that, like, NFL's official, like, social media handles were asking players, coaches, in and out of Vegas this last week, if the Super Bowl was played internationally, where would you like it played at? So get ready. My guess is that's what's going to happen. There were some good choices. I saw Madrid and Barcelona and, like, you know, some places like that. London, a lot of people said that seems to be the easiest one to kind of get that done. Mexico City, I know, has been kind of toyed around with for a while with the NFL. I believe, I mean, Mahomes and Justin Herbert played a game in Mexico City, did they not? Is that game where they both went for like 60 points or something like crazy? Or wait, I may have that screwed up. I don't think it was Justin Herbert. That was Jared Goff, right? When he was with the Rams. I think I'm getting people confused. But I'm pretty sure that game was in Mexico City. I don't know what you're going to do about the time there. I don't know all of these cities and where they are on, like, Eastern Standard or, Pacific time or all that. I don't know where they're all at on that. I don't have a world clock in front of me, although I guess I do with the iPhone. But that's going to be the tricky thing, having it in another city, or another country is what I mean to say there. I think Vegas did a good job hosting it. Now I have a love of Vegas, as that's where my family lives. It's my second home, so I love Las Vegas. I got to be honest with you, if they didn't have a team there, I would just have it in Vegas every year. Just have it there every year. There's not as many negative stories as we thought we were going to get coming out of that city. Now, Vegas is better than most cities at covering up what happens in that town so nobody hears it. I told you. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas was not birthed out of like a PR campaign. That's some things that people in Vegas used to say about the fact that nobody understands how dangerous this place is because they hide it so well, so we keep going out there to drop money off. And then the tourism center was like, we got an idea. Like, that's kind of, I mean, all they did was pick up a phrase that was already being used, wash it, put it out, and got us all to repeat it. But we're not hearing that many break out like crazy stories about Las Vegas. There's been a few.